recording. Hi, this is Jan from Log Cabin Leather for another session of my Workshop Wednesday series. I apologize again, this seems a little glitchy when I first go on. So once again, my name is Jan Hibbard from Log Cabin Leather. This is another session of my Workshop Wednesday series here. I make handmade leather products. I'm here in the basement of my log cabin home where all my products are made. This whole month I've been talking about making guitar straps, and this week is about guitar accessories to go along with the straps. So first I'm going to talk about finishing up some of the straps I started last week in the Workshop Wednesday series. I sewed this one, or I sewed this one, I glued this one, or vice versa. I glued this one first and sewed this. Now this one is sewn. As you can see, the edges are not trimmed, so I'm going to talk about that and how the steps now to finish the strap. But then I'm also going to demonstrate making some of the accessories I showed on Monday, the transmitter case that can go on, that can attach to the straps, things like that. This is a pattern for it, which is, again, a pattern I made myself. Again, it started with a customer who gave me excuse me, I got to step off camera here, a cloth one, and I used that to make a pattern to make the leather ones, and he wanted to have a solid strap so it would stay secured onto his guitar strap, which I made. So I made one to match his design. Kind of blue here. I don't know. The lighting here is not too great on this side. So I'm going to show about finishing the guitar straps. I'm going to talk about, again, how at first I used to have to cut these all by hand. And again, cutting these round little shapes and around the corners, and then punching the holes and so forth, which you probably can't, I guess you can see that they have the holes in it. Used to be done by hand. So I'm going to talk about how I do that now. I'm actually going to demonstrate cutting out one of the little pickpockets. I am going to use a new piece of equipment I have called the Glow Forge. It's a they call it a 3D laser printer, but really it's a 3D laser engraver cutter. 3D printer builds up materials. This, cuts out materials. So you can make, dimensional. I'm using it for the leather work. By rights, I could cut these curved straps so they would be cut, perfectly and things like that. But I'm not to that point yet because that's a whole other aspect of it. To cut the larger things. And again, requires some special equipment and things like that, which I don't have yet. So now, this is a strap I did last week, or I had done, and I sewed it. So now to finish the edges off, I'm going to talk about that today. And again, so here's the strap that I glued last week. And I cut the lining oversized. Because again, once with the padding inside and stuff, you don't know exactly how it's going to line up and things. So I always cut my lining oversized. So the next step now is I need to trim. So now once it's cut, and basically I do this with scissors. I trim around the strap. I go around once and cut the whole thing. But and again, then you need to go back, and I can see little places where, again, I tend to swoop when I use my scissors, and so it's not exactly straight. So then I'll go back and retrim. Once that's done, and again, I'm not going to show the whole process because these videos are not really made to teach you how to make the strap. It's just to show all the steps involved in making a handmade leather strap, and what makes them superior is all this extra little work. So now once that's cut, then I have a Dremel, and it has a little sanding disc on it. So then I'm going to take that, and I'm going to run it along the sides, and I'm going to smooth it off. So there's a little nip right there that needs to come off. I have to trim the scissors, which this is very messy. Leather work is messy. I don't care what anybody says. Leather work is messy. And see, there's still a little piece there that needs to be trimmed better before I do it. So I go along and I trim, and then I sand. Once your edges are sanded, then they need to be burnished, which means I put something on, a finish on the edge, and then It's another piece of equipment which I've demonstrated for my belts before. I'm not going to demonstrate that today because that piece of equipment is on the other side of my workshop. So I can't run around with a camera and the laptop to show all this. So the edges are smooth. Now these edges actually came out pretty nice because if you look at them, it almost looks like one piece already when it's really two pieces of leather sewn together. And then, of course, the foam does not come out to the edges. So again, the edges need to be smooth. The next thing, of course, you have to punch the slots. So now back to this other strap I had. Again, I've measured for where the slots are going to go, and I've drawn lines on here. They're an inch apart. These are going to be 1.25 slots. So then, again, I don't always do that over here, but for this demonstration today, I'm going to put the camera down a little bit. And actually, I don't know if you can see, I've got this log here, and actually, it's a beam from my house. It's actually one of the purlons. If you look at my logo, it has big beams across the top of the house, big round circles you see, I think, in the logo. It's actually these beams, which are part of my house. So this is generally my workshop, my log that I would take with me when I go places. I actually do have another one over here. It's kind of shorter. It's on ballast or something else. So, and then you're going to use the slot punches. This punches a slot. You have to have it on top of a special mat, on top of a special board in my hammer. And again, I have these slots marked out. I have to get this in the right spot. Marked out on my pattern here. And then they're hammered in. So that punches the nice slot. Sorry, that's needed. Punches a nice slot. That's, you can see where I finished sewing. I haven't trimmed the things yet. Punches a nice slot. And then I'm going to do that, generally 8 slots in a guitar strap. Once those are done, then again, the edges in those all need to be, I mean, these will be smoothed off. They'll be smoothed off, then they'll be dyed. Edges in there dyed. Then, of course, I have to attach the strap in there. I still have to punch the hole here for the slot so it will accept the guitar, so it will accept the strap locks, things like that. So it will have a round hole punch, and then it has a little slot in it so you can get the it over the strap lock. So that's part of that. Now, so the next thing I was going to demonstrate is, again, cutting some of these things, because cutting some of these shapes, like, again, cutting something like this to get this perfect and to get it nice and round and even and not to overcut and things like that is not exactly easy. Shapes like this, now this goes together, so this fits together like this. This is for the pocket slide. So the pocket slide, so the piece that goes, so making the double layer of leather on both sides. So this piece has to be glued to that. And now before, again, I would have to cut one piece a little bit larger than the other and kind of trim it to get it exactly. You know, I can use a round punch to get the end sometimes, but it's hard to get them even. So now with this, if I can draw it, I can cut it. So with this piece of equipment, I need to draw the patterns out. So again, this is a pattern to make the, and once my machine can see that, it's going to scan this, and then I can print it. I'm not going to print that today because, again, the machine is loud. I'm going to turn it on here in a minute, and actually, I'll have to turn the camera, I think, so you can see it. I'm not quite sure how to do all this because it does make a little bit of a noise. So that's a pattern there. So the other thing I talked about for accessories, so that's, again, transmitter case, the slide pockets. Again, I have a different kind of slide pocket that goes onto a belt. And then I was also saying I was going to do the pick protectors. So this, again, originally I cut by hand. It actually goes with the guitar that I have, the Fender. It actually is the pattern. That's my machine starting up over here. It's a pattern for the the pick protector. God, the lighting is terrible here. For the pick protector, it's such a glare here. Not sure what I can do about that. That's part of it, I think. So again, the pick protector to go. You can't even see where this one is on here because it's almost the color of the guitar. So you could have a fancier one to match your instrument, things like that. So now, but to cut these slots and things, which I have not cut on this yet, you know, that's pretty tricky and stuff. And the holes to attach it and things like that. With this machine, if I can draw it onto the piece of paper, I can scan it into the machine, and it will be able to print this and put the holes in and everything else. It will tell you how long it will take. You scan in this piece for your pattern first. Once you get it the way you want, you can kind of tell it whether you want it to cut, engrave, things like that. That's with these, it's just going to be a cut. And I am going to do this little, the pickpocket, because I don't even know if you can see it. Because it's small and it will be quick. It does take some time. I actually have to open up my software onto my program, so I don't know if I can do that, and I don't know what's going to happen to my screen here for a minute. I didn't really think this out. So let me open that screen for a minute. Then I don't know if I can, I don't know how to screen share, or if I can even do that on here. So I apologize for that. This pattern actually is already scanned into the machine. So basically I'm going to have to put a piece, and the machine is over in here. And what you're seeing is the hose, the venting hose for it, because it does make a smell. So basically, the different kinds of leather down here for different projects I've been making. No, a bit of a piece of this right here. All right. So again, you can be any shape piece you want. It doesn't have to be any nice little square, because once I've scanned that piece in, I'm going to be able to move it around on the material and place it on here where I want. Or actually, I have. So sorry, folks, I can't show this on the camera. I'm putting that piece of leather in there. I am holding it down with magnets, because it has a metal-like screen base in here. And so I am holding it down with magnets, because so the pattern doesn't move around. So now again, I apologize, and again, I didn't really think this through. I've got to go to my other screen, and I don't know how that will work, because again, I don't think you can see what I'm doing. I can keep flipping back and forth, but I got to at least go to it to click on what I want to do and move the picture. And I don't know if anyway it shows me here where I can share my screen. I don't know. So you're going to have to bear with me for a minute. I think you'll still be able to hear me talk. So now I'm going into my design library, because I've already got this pattern scanned in here. I'm finding it, which I've got quite a few things scanned in here now, so I've got to find it first. And then once I find it, I can open it up. Oh, come on. Sorry, folks. I didn't plan this out very well. Oh, I cannot find the pattern. Well, sorry, folks. I actually can't find the pattern, so let me scan it in. I apologize. This is not quite how I planned this on going, but that's part of my course here. Not as well planned as I would want, so again, I've got to go. Maybe I can do it this way. So now here are my patterns. Back to my home page. There's a pattern I made. So now the first thing I have to do is make a box around. No, and this is where it doesn't always cooperate with me. Now I need to make a box around it. Now it's scanning it, and again, I can't see what you can see on this camera, so now I click around it, and it makes it pink. Now I gotta click in my little dots to make them pink. I revised this pattern, which is why maybe I didn't have it in here anymore, because I saved it. I revised it a little bit. And so now anything that shows in pink is going to be a cut. Okay. Oh, wait a second here. It missed one here. This is where it sometimes doesn't cooperate. I'm sorry, I'm probably not even going to bother to show all this then. See, and then it captures a pattern before you're ready for it, this is a part that gets annoying at times. There. Now it's got everything I want. Now we go to the next step, which is place the artwork. Actually, I had placed my leather piece in there already. I just kind of snuck that in on top. So I don't know if you can see that now. Now it's going to scan the material that I put in there, which is a piece of leather. You can kind of see that's the lighter shade piece there. Okay, I've got to select my material. Okay, so now on my computer screen, it's placed my piece here. So now I've got to get this so it fits on this piece of leather, which I hope it does. I can move it around. I think I need to flip it this way for one thing. Okay, it's just going to fit on this piece, I think. No, I don't know if it is going to fit on this piece of leather. And the only thing with this program is you can't flip it left to right. Now I think it made it smaller than it was supposed to be. Which it shouldn't change the size of it. Alright, well for the sake of this demonstration, that's what I'm going to go with. Now it says it's ready. So now I click ready. It does take a minute. Sorry guys. Sorry, this is the only way I can figure out how to do this. It's going to take a minute for that to get ready. Once it is ready, this light will flash, and then it will tell me how long. And actually, let me go back because I don't know if I don't need it to engrave. Again, I've got settings up here, and I want it to ignore the engrave. So yeah, I've got to cancel the print. Because it was going to take 10 minutes to cut. Oh, goodness. Now it's going to start this all over again. I guess I screwed up on this one. Alright. Sorry, guys. I screwed up because I don't want it to... Alright. So now I'm going to put the material back in here again. And it's just a cut now. See, I don't need it to engrave anything. All of this is going to be cut out, which is going to take... No. I see it's still saying... Alright, dismiss. Ignore ready to print. Sorry. Now it will tell in a couple seconds, and it will only take probably 30 seconds or something to print this. So give it a minute here. I'm sorry. Again, I really don't know how to do this so that you can see both. I don't know how to clear the screen without moving the camera. So, all right, my light is flashing over here on my piece of equipment. So now I have to press this magic button right here. And let me just switch back here for a second. It's going to take 1 minute and 17 seconds to print this. So now once I press print, going to cut the shape out. It's going to print the hole. It does make some noise. But the vent here prevents any smells. So a little bit of burnt leather when you take it out, you can see the smoke it's making. Pick up the thicker leather like this, it requires it to cut around the item twice. You can get very close to those magnets I have in there, which have to hold the item down. Unfortunately, sometimes if it cuts first, sometimes the leather curls, which can affect how it, it doesn't line up the way you want it because the leather curls in the process. And that's it. Now it's cut. You can see that in there now. The machine cools down. Okay, and that chicken tells me I can take it out. Move my magnets. And then there's my piece. Let me put my camera back over here. Sorry, I apologize for all that. And then I have the piece cut out with the holes in it. I'll have to, take a minute, punch the holes out, things like that. And there it is. So 1 minute 31 seconds. Again, cutting that by hand would take me a whole lot longer than that. Then I'd have to go back and punch the holes. Now all I have to do is I can put a design on this. Then it's going to just rivet together. It'll be all set to go. And that's basically how I can cut things. So again, first you have to scan the pattern in. The problem with scanning it, and again, this is a learning curve for me. I've not even had the machine a month yet, or just a month. And again, it took me almost 2 weeks before I actually got it hooked up because of trying to vent it out and things like that. So again, my biggest problem is trying to make the patterns the right way so the machine reads what you want it to do. I said first time, and I hope you could see what I was doing, I tried to scan this, then I was going around trying to make it so it will do the holes, but for some reason it missed one hole, and then it didn't show up on the pattern, so I wanted it to punch that hole so they're going to line up and everything, so I had to go back and redo it, redo the pattern to get it to work again. So it is a learning curve, so it doesn't always come out quite exactly the way you want. But it's going to make it a whole lot easier to cut. Again, that's a fairly difficult shape to cut. A lot of the things, other than things for musicians, like earrings and things like that, are going to be a whole lot easier to cut, which is what's going to be coming up next month. So this whole month of April has all been about making guitar straps, guitar strap accessories. So that's what I'm finishing out the week with this week. But actually on Saturday, I'm going to have the preview party for the next product launch I have, which is all to do with this machine again, called the Glow Forge. And it's about how I'm creating all these very intricate shapes and details and things like that, which by hand would be, very time consuming to do. So that's what will be coming up next month. I'll be talking about making this line of the new jewelry that I'm making. This month was all about guitar straps and products for musicians. And the reason that was my theme this month was because originally, again, I was supposed to be going to a guitar expo May 2nd. It was in Massachusetts, the Northeast Guitar Expo. That unfortunately, everything is canceled for this year. Almost all my shows, I think my one in Rhinebeck, New York, because New York said they weren't going to open till the end of June at least. And, and even then, that's kind of sketchy for me. So we'll see what happens then. But in any event, my only sales are through online. So would really appreciate you liking and following me. Check out my website, which is Log Cabin Leather by Jan. God, you can't even see this on this camera today. logcabinleatherbyjan.com. Email is Jan, Jan, at logcabinleatherbyjan.com. And again, you can check out my things online. You can always call me if you're not sure. I can take orders that way. I am the only one who makes my products. So, and I realize now is not the time that people are going to be buying things from musicians. But what I'm trying to point out here, if you're ready in the future and you want things like a transmitter case, I can make the guitar strap. I can make this to go with it. The other things, they can be plain, they can be solid colors, they can be, again, so the details don't show in a solid color. So that's all up to you. I can do even, I think now with this, because it's a laser engraver, I can engrave your logo on it. That's something I haven't done in the past, but that's something I should be able to offer now. So those are all things that will be coming up. So again, I'll be finishing up this week a little bit on making the accessories, but really Saturday is going to be my preview party for the new launch of the new product. So that's when you get to see it pretty much before anybody else. So if you've watched a couple of other videos here, you've seen a little bit of a preview of them. I also have a giveaway running this month, which you can join on my Facebook page. One of the grand prize is something for musicians. I'm not going to go into the detail of that now, but you can join that on my Facebook page or on my website. My homepage and my website has links to join the giveaway. It runs through April 30th, so you only got about a week left to join. And then the winner will be announced live on April 30th at 7:30 p.m. here live on Facebook. So that's pretty much all I have to say. Again, this is Jan Hibbard. My business is Log Cabin Leather by Jan. I make handmade leather products here in the basement of my log cabin home, and this does not show up at all. My website is logcabinleatherbyjan.com. It doesn't show up at all. And my email is jan at logcabinleatherbyjan.com. And thank you very much. I am Jan, and I think that's about all I have to say for now. I hope everybody stays safe. I hope you're still staying home. I know this same thing really stinks, but I think it's all for our best interest. We don't want this to come back again, because I'm hoping at least next year I'll be able to do shows. I'm really not thinking I'm going to be able to do anything for this year. So again, following me and liking me on Facebook, checking out my website, maybe placing an order when money is when you can afford to would be great. Also, the new line coming up is perfect for Mother's Day. I have some other lines that have be perfect for Mother's Day gifts, so keep that in mind. And I can send it directly to them if you're worried about the shipping and how many people are handling the products. Everything here in my workshop is just handled by me, and again, pretty germ-free because everything was purchased long before any of this happened, the materials, and I'm the only one who touches them, so I've been staying home. So thank you very much for now. Once again, Jan Hibbard from Log Cabin Leather by Jan. This was my Workshop Wednesday series when I take you into my basement and I talk about how my products are made and give you a little behind-the-scenes look at the actual production of the products. So you see what goes into making the handmade products and how much love and attention and thought is put into them. Thank you very much for now. I hope you have a great day. Hope you join me again live on Saturday. I think it's at 10 a.m. for my Spotlight Saturday series and my preview party for my new product launch that comes out next Monday. Thank you very much, guys. Bye for now. Have a great day. Bye.